slow down and prosper. This might sound as though it's not real, but there are those who are so busy that they are hindering all true prosperity. And so, at this moment, what I'd like to talk to us about is this: the world needs more people who are not too busy. The world needs more people who are not too busy. The greatest opportunities to bless others, hear God's voice, strengthen families, and serve humanity are often missed because people are too busy to notice what truly matters. Busy traveling, busy preparing this, busy preparing the others. I have met some people who they are so busy that the task for which they are being paid, they hardly have time to fulfill such task. What if one of the world's greatest problems is not a lack of intelligence, technology, or wealth? What if our greatest problem is that we're simply too busy? And I do believe that is one of the world's greatest problems today. People are too busy. So busy that they often miss people. No time for people. You know, the Bible gives us a very outstanding story. Many of us call it the story of the Good Samaritan. But when you look at that story, what was happening? The priest was too busy and too occupied to stop by. The Levite was too occupied and too busy to stop by. But the Samaritan, whatever his task was, wherever he was going, he found enough time to spend over a dying man to restore him to health. He had the right view of life. There need to be revival. There needs to be restoration. There needs to be resurrection. But sometimes we don't find time for that. And so we pass by because we are so busy. People are so busy sometimes that their opportunity to commune with the divine, to draw on the source of life, to draw on that never failing source. They are so busy. Again, the Bible gives us a very good story over there in the New Testament. There were Mary and Martha. Martha was so busy looking after Jesus' need, preparing food, making sure everything was clean and spotless. But Mary was relaxed, sitting at the feet of Jesus, not rushing, not firing away, not getting this done, getting that done, getting the other done. The must do's were placed aside. But what did Jesus say? Luke 10 and verse 4. Martha, Martha, you are careful and troubled about many things, but Mary has chosen the better part, which shall not be taken away from her. She was at the feet of the Master, drinking in, learning the truth the truth of the divine, the truth about nature, the truth about her condition, the truth about Jesus' mission, the truth about life in its fullness. Yes, people are often so busy, and this is one of the greatest problems before us. People are so busy that they neglect the family. So busy earning, so busy seeking prosperity, so busy building a nice bank account, so busy caring for insurance to look after the future, that their children often grow up without a father, grow up without a mother, grow up without senior siblings, because those around them were too busy. Parents frequently discover that careers, projects, and commitments consume years that can never be recovered. No one on a deathbed wishes they had attended more meetings, yet many wish they had spent more time with family. Listen to this great writer. No earthly ties are so dear, so earthly, relations so sacred as those of the family circle. I'm not suggesting that we place the family in such a position. Once, when I functioned as a ministerial secretary, I had to go and see one fellow minister. Just about all the administrators and fellow ministers label him as the lazy one of the group. Wasn't fulfilling his duties at all. So as a ministerial secretary, I had to go and check in on him. His idea was we have to spend quality time with the family. We have to be with the family. Yes, you have to be with the family. And quality time must be spent with the family. But it's not that you idolize the family and neglect other things. You see, we have to develop a balance in life. Others, they are so busy building careers, accumulating wealth, that the family is of little value, and they always live to regret it. Again, I met another pastor, and he would often say to us, I regret what I've done. So while I was busy trying to build a ministry, my family was perishing. I've lost section of my family. My son is gone. Too busy. When we look at scripture, we find that God sometimes, as it were, just break in on some busy people. In your busyness, you have to find time to listen to God, to hear that divine voice giving you your appointment. They have Moses at the burning bush. He was busy looking after his father-in-law's sheep. Busy, but the Lord interrupted. Yes, Moses had time to stop and listen. And what a great blessing that was. There was Philip, very busy, carrying out the master's injunction, preach the gospel. Wherever he was, success seemed to be attending his preaching. But the divine voice suggested that he should move out and accomplish certain tasks by the desert path. Time to listen to the master of the universe. Jesus had time for people. He had time for the children. He had time to go to wedding. He had time to perform miracles for the needy. His life was a very busy life, but he had time for people. Busy people often produce stress. I'm working on a series on stressors and stress. I hope my friends will be looking forward to it and will join in with me in understanding things that cause stress. And one of the foremost things producing stress is busyness. So busy that you are stressed out. So busy that you cause others to be stressed out. Yes, our busy life often produce stress. The Master says, be still and know that I am God. Psalm 48, verse 10. It is by no means encouraging laziness. It is by no means telling us that we must not be responsible. It is by no means saying that we shouldn't work and work hard too. But some people are so tied up. It's a state of mind I have. And then it would seem to me that many like you to know and to think that they are busy, busy, busy. Busyness seems to be the watchword. And oftentimes, the busier we get, the less productive we become. I was at a meeting once and I was greatly amused, startled, and disgusted. There was one of the chief officers who was supposed to be steering the meeting. Meeting started, he was not there. Meeting in progress, he rushed in. And as soon as he had an opportunity, his announcement, friends, I'm just coming from such and such a meeting. Yes, we had a good time. And we had to discuss this and that. But then that delayed me and I had to rush to come to this one. And sad to say, I'll have to rush to another meeting even before this one is finished. What good is that doing? How helpful is that? So our busyness causes us not to be thinking soberly, not to be thinking of other people, not to be thinking of the activities before us. Our busyness has become idle. Be still and know that I am God. And Jesus at a certain part was saying to his disciples, come ye yourself apart and rest a while. You realize that when you tax too much, you're having problem. Jesus was busy, but he had time to bless the children. He was busy, but he had time to talk with individuals. He was busy, but he had time to attend weddings. He was busy, but he had time to make visitations to the home. He was busy, but he had time to stop with the sick and to carry out healing. He was busy, but found time to get out there and pray. The busiest person in history was never so rushed and so much in a hurry that he could not spend time with those who were in need. How busy are you? If you're one of those who are everlastingly busy and you're rushing here, rushing there, rushing to fulfill this appointment, rushing to meet that one, rushing to communicate with that one, let me tell you something right up front. You're losing out on the facts of life and the blessings of life and the reality that is to strengthen you for prosperity. Friends, if the Master were to walk in your life today, would he find room in your busyness? Would he find room in the schedule you have drawn up? How would there be a little time to talk with him? I've gone to see people sometimes, many occasions, and they're so busy that you are conscious of the busyness more than you're conscious of they wanting to help you. Busy here and there. Yes, there's a story in the Old Testament that I must share with you. There was this man, and the captain of the army placed him in a position to look after some captives. But somewhere along the line, the captives disappeared. When the captain returned, he said, "Now, where are those you were supposed to be looking after?" His words, "While I was busy here and there, they escaped." Much of what is committed to our care, much of what should be helping us as individuals, helping us as a family, helping us as a community, helping us in church, helping us in the educational field, helping us in various ways, disappear because of our busyness. Be still and know that I am God. The world does not merely need more talented people. The world needs people that will strike a balance: work, rest, play, eat. The world does not need merely more educated people. We have more educated people now than ever before, but some are so busy that their education is drawing them away from that which they were educated to attend to. The world does not merely need more productive people. The world needs people that will have time to sit down and count their production and look at what is necessary. Yes, the world desperately need more people who have time to listen. Yes, we need more people who have time to listen. They are not so busy. Yes, I have to throw in my little experience here and there. I had a very important matter to discuss with a certain leader not very, very, very long ago. And the first thing the leader is telling me, "Well, look, I will be busy. I'll be traveling. I'll be doing this. I'll be doing that." And we end up with him not even giving me a future appointment to come talk with him. Too busy to listen to me. We need people who will have time to care. They are not so busy that they become uncaring. We need people who will have time to pray. We need people who will have time to notice. Yes, we need people who will have time to serve. Time to serve. And when I say serve, I'm not talking rushing here and there with looking for popularity, looking for promotion, not like that. To look where the need, where there is genuine need, where people are hurting, where people are suffering, where people need counsel. People need for you to hold them by the hand and take them through the rough path. That is why we are placed here as Christians, to help fulfill the great need of humanity, to serve humanity. We need people who have time for God, people who have time for God. And I believe you me, I'm convinced that that is one of the main reasons why that rest day commandment was given. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath or rest of the Lord thy God, a time to meet with God. It is so structured that it is bringing the individual with his family, with his cattle, with his stranger, with his servants or slaves, into the restful presence of the Master of the universe. We need, many of us, to cut down on the multitude of activities that cursing our lives instead of blessing our lives. We need those moments when we can relax, come apart, rest a while. We need those moments when we can be in that restful mode with our family circle. We need those restful moments when we are tuned in to the divine voice. I have seen a number of people, they are so busy that the task that would have helped them to build intellectually is neglected. The task that would help to build them socially is neglected. The task that would help to build them materially is neglected. The task to build them spiritually, neglected. And they live and die in poverty. Be wise and prosper today. Minimize some of those activities that you're simply doing them for a show. You're simply doing them because if you don't do them, it's not likely that they will promote you. Look for the genuine activities. Fulfill them with work. That's Genesis story now. Work, rest, worship. Work, rest, worship. Be wise and prosper today.